Good morning. So nice to see you on another beautiful day here in the Tennessee Valley. One of the things that we so love about bringing you the show each and every day, selfishly for us, is that we get to learn a lot from the guests who are on the show. Hopefully you feel the same way in watching them. So we're going to begin with a bit of an education again this morning, talking about your emotions, your brain, and how your brain is directly connected to how you feel. Charles Miller is here. He, of course, has Scenic Neurotherapy, and he has brought a friend and kind of a partner with him, Nick Colbert, who is a physical therapist with Summit Physical Therapy. Welcome to you both.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
So I want to start with you, Charles, and this idea that you love of the partnering, because you're addressing one part of your patient's health and mental health and well-being, but you don't ever pretend that you can do it alone. So these partnerships are key.
Absolutely. We are just one piece of the overall puzzle. We help provide neuroplasticity, we help manage inflammation, we help manage pain, but we are not the fix specifically with chronic pains. You know, rebuilding muscle mass, flexibility, getting the body healthy to where it can better self-maintain is part of the whole process of getting well.
Often when you are here, we end up talking, and in fact you've brought patients on before who struggle with PTSD, depression, the mental health component of what you do. Today you're talking about chronic pain, which is, you would think, a physical issue, and yet you, Nick, were telling me off camera about the mapping of the brain, and that so often your brain can kind of be stuck into not allowing your body to heal physically. Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. You know, it's almost like you have a GPS system mapped out literally on your brain. The medical scientific term is called the homunculus, but you have parts, your entire body are sequentiated on top of the brain in a way that your body's able to function effectively and efficiently, and certain areas get a bigger chunk of the pie than, say, others. And so when you have an injury, a lot of times there's non-use. You don't want to use it. You put your arm in a sling or your foot in a cast or a boot or whatever it is, and it's almost like somebody takes an eraser and starts to erase that part of the brain of where that body part that was injured. And so you start to lose sensation. You start to have changes in terms of temperature and how pain gets kind of upregulated. So yeah, it's a mapping that needs to be restored and told that, hey, everything's been healed. It's been 6 months or more, and you're still having pain, but the tissue is by far healed.
Okay, so I kind of wing it. So let me ask you something, and either one of you can jump in. It might fall more to you, Nick, but let's say that you have had a surgery. Let's say you had knee replacement surgery. Obviously, physical therapy is going to be part of that healing for people. They come to you, they're 2 or 3 times a week, and you do what you can with them, but then their time with you ends, and they need to kind of maintain that at home. Some of the healing is dependent on how involved they are. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, and so there could be some residual lingering problems that didn't get addressed. If this is 5 years down the road, can they come then back to you, and through your work with Charles and you, get that problem healed?
Absolutely, they can come back, and that's actually really encouraged. Every time we discharge somebody, we create a plan for them, and we like to follow up with people in 6 weeks just to make sure that everything's going well. And if things aren't going well, we have them call us back before 6 weeks, and we get them back in. And so if people feel confident enough, and I feel confident enough in them as well, and that's the big goal, is when we educate people, that we want them to be confident in where they're at, what they're doing, and the progress they've made, and so that way they can continue this independently at home. And so when they do come to see us, say 5 years down the road, which I do have a few people that come back, we work with them to try to improve the functionality, overall functionality of their well-being in terms of their joints that are injured, and restore the strength, the range of motion, so that way they get back to living the life and the quality of life that they want to have.
I kind of purposely threw out the 5 years because it seems like a lot of what you talk about and what you're even hearing Nick say about the mapping of the brain in scale is kind of a new understanding of the brain. So some people may have problems that they've lived with and they don't have to anymore.
I think that's a good point to make. we work with people fresh out of surgery. We help manage their pain and to keep them comfortable while they go through next process. A knee surgery in particular can be very uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is our word in medicine for pain.
Yeah.
And it's, but at the same time, we have to make sure that the patient is compliant. They're doing their exercises at home. And when we better manage that pain, we're better able to keep them compliant, keep them coming back, they're more likely to do what they're supposed to do on their side of things. Now, 5 years out, you have residual nerve pains from injuries, from a procedure, even just, they call it compensatory pain. It's like, now that I got my right knee fixed, now my left knee hurts. Why does my left knee hurt so bad now? It's just the way the body tries to balance itself.
Something else that's, I think, worth pointing out, if I have time, is chronic pain versus acute pain. So acute pain, obviously, that's stabbing at you and that's going to get your attention. Chronic pain, you can begin to sort of get used to, can't you? And then you forget that once upon a time you felt good. Yeah,
absolutely. Chronic pain, it sets up, and it's most of the time inflammatory in nature, meaning that this is something that is there's not an actual injury causing pain. It's inflammation surrounding where the injury used to be. The brain's sending inappropriate signals causing inflammation, saying, my knee is fixed, the anatomy is now correct. Why does it still hurt? Anytime we mess with nerves, anytime we change something in the body's doesn't always respond productively.
Okay,
so
you said something I don't understand, and I hope I'm not going to get cut off.
Oh, you're good.
Well, I hope I don't get cut off. You said that the brain sends a signal to the body that causes inflammation. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's with neuropathic type pain, we'll actually create neural pathways to help us better manage pains we can't get rid of. Say you have a pain that in the knee that has been there for years, and so your brain will turn it from that acute pain into a chronic type pain, which is a dull, achier pain rather than that sharp, pointy pain.
Okay.
And so that's essentially what we do, is we help kind of undo the creation of this neural pathway and rebuild the process. Now that requires movement, which is provided by physical therapy. They teach the patients how to move, how to build those areas back up, and how to feel things correctly by retraining the limb.
I know I'm sticking my neck out on this one because I begin to connect things all the time. But I had a conversation with a friend 20 minutes ago, and he and I have been trying to talk the last 2 weeks, and we couldn't connect. And he said, I think our schedules are just so crazy, we're never going to talk again. We're that busy. We're all busy all the time. That too builds up tension, doesn't it? Are a lot of us dealing with issues that we don't even know we're dealing with?
I think, as the busier we are, always moving, always going, or not moving enough. We sit a lot, yet our brains are very busy, and the body doesn't get to move as much either. It's all about balance. It's about finding how, making sure that we are moving, that we are taking care of ourselves, that we're paying attention to, what's hurting before it becomes a significant problem. But once it is a significant problem, once it's something that we can't roll back, say surgically, we can't, there's nothing to actually correct. It's just inflammation in the body.
Nick, you said something to me, I'll kind of give you the last word here maybe, that earlier, that the body is really intended to heal itself. I think that's important for you to have a chance to stress as a physical therapist.
Yeah, it's incredible, just the design of the human body, and you don't even have to think about trying to heal a cut on your hand. You don't have to think about letting the blood flow and neurovascular structures to move back into the tissue that was injured. It just happens, and so you need to honor that in terms of eating healthy, taking care of your body, exercising, and so that helps promote those things, and it helps speed up the process of healing. And so healing is definitely not a linear thing. It can change. There's different parts of time where there's maybe more healing that takes place than other times. I get people when they come in, say for just like a total knee or a rotator cuff surgery, their expectation is, hey, I want to be better. You told me somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks, especially with the total knee, that I should be good. And I said, well, even at a year out, they can biopsy tissue and still see some healing factors in there. And so we really want to just be cognizant of that the body needs time, and you have to give it that time. And as a former athlete myself, I know that there's a lot of external pressures, as you guys say. There's life that happens in between the margins. And so it's just being aware of how to kind of slow down, and rethink about how I want to live my life and the quality of my life, and allow my body to heal correctly.
And to kind of summarize it for people who might be afraid of physical therapy because they've heard that it's going to hurt, sometimes it may, but you do your best not to. But that pain is what you're talking about, Charles. So you can help, the two of y'all together, you can help with the pain aspect of releasing the brain, so that then Nick can do the work.
Yeah,
Is that right?
what we do helps manage the pain, but also helps the brain adapt better to where what Nick does with the patient takes them further, faster. They make greater gains.
Okay. It makes a lot of sense to me. But let me tell you something else I learned in talking to Charles this morning. He has been doing a couple of podcasts lately. You've done one with Nick, actually, right?
We did.
And one where you've talked to, is it a firefighter?
It was an actual war veteran.
A war veteran about PTSD. So if you want to learn more about what he's doing, first of all, you can call him 228-0579. The consultations are at no cost to you. It's ScenicCityNeurotherapy.com. Where can they find the podcast? On Apple?
I believe it's on Apple Podcasts. It's the Chattanooga Football Club sponsored it for us. It is Off the Field with Scenic City Neurotherapy.
Okay. Might be an interesting thing for you to listen to at some point. Thank you both very much for coming.
Thanks for having us.